Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot.
Hi everyone, welcome to Chinese Pod. My name's Fiona.
And my name's Gwilym, and today we have an elementary lesson for you.
So today's lesson is super useful. We're going to be learning how to express different degrees of something. So for example, how to say it's a bit cold, it's quite cold, it's very cold, and it couldn't get colder than this.
We're also going to hear some names for cities in China.
And just to give you a tip, we're going to be working from the south of China and we're going to be moving north. So obviously it's going to get colder and colder the further up we go.
Right, well, how about we listen to the dialogue 3 times?
好，那我们来听听今天的对话。对话第1遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
第2遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
第3遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
Hello, friends. This is Sarah Chung, a content creator for Chinese Pod. Each week, we find new topics relevant to you and send them to your mobile device. Currently, we have over 4,000 lessons on the app covering a variety of topics. A huge thank you to all of our subscribers who make this amazing journey possible for all. If you are not a subscriber and you would like to try us out with no obligation, go to ChinesePod.com and start your free 30-day trial. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain, so sign up now.
Translations.
海南的冬天冷吗？
Is it cold in Hainan at winter?
一点也不冷，
It's not one bit cold.
一点儿也不冷。
It's not at all cold.
杭州的冬天呢？
And how about winter in Hangzhou?
杭州的冬天呢？
How about winters in Hangzhou?
挺冷的，
It's quite cold.
挺冷的。
It's quite cold.
北京的呢？
And Beijing?
北京的呢？
And how about Beijing?
冷极了，
It's super cold.
冷极了。
It's extremely cold.
哈尔滨呢？
And Harbin?
哈尔滨呢？
And how about Harbin?
冷得不得了，
It's extremely cold.
冷得不得了。
It can't get any colder.
Alright, let's start at the beginning of the dialogue where we hear them say, Are the winters cold in Hainan? 海南，海南的冬天冷吗？
We know where Hainan is because Nan is south and Hai means the character for sea, so it's on the southern coast in the south.
Let's do a quick recap of the seasons in case you don't know them. So I'm going to go spring, summer, autumn, and winter. 春夏秋冬，春天夏天秋天冬天。
And today we're talking about winter.
Yes, that's right. They say 海南的冬天冷吗？冷 is
Cold. Now since it's on the southern coast, it's not at all cold, so how do you say it's just not one bit cold?
一点，一点 is one bit, literally. You can also pronounce it 一点儿，一点儿也不冷。One bit, not even cold. It's not even cold, a tiny bit.
I would just learn this structure, don't break it down too much.
一点儿也不冷，
And of course you can put any adjective there. You could say not at all expensive,
一点儿也不贵，
or it's not at all hot.
一点也不热。
Now some users might have heard the character do instead of ye. Now both are fine to use in this case.
Next, we hear them ask about Hangzhou. So we're moving further up. We're going closer to Shanghai. 杭州的冬天呢? And we hear that it's quite cold. It's cold. 挺冷的,挺冷的. So this character, 挺, can mean quite or rather.
So can you give me another example using 挺?
So maybe someone asks you, how tall is Gwillem? We can say, 他挺高的. Yeah, he's quite tall. Gwillem's quite tall. 他挺高的. How about, how's that restaurant? You can say, 挺好吃的. 挺好吃的. It's quite good. So here you're just adding, maybe it's just a bit more than the norm, but it's not an extreme. So if it's quite good, it's rather good, you can use the character 挺.
Now the next line is much shorter because we know we're talking about winters in China, so this is why we hear.
So the winter is omitted from this sentence. The full sentence should be 北京的冬天冷吗? But because the topic is so clear, we just hear 北京的呢? How about Beijing's? Now we hear it's extremely cold. 冷极了,冷极了.
So this means extremely. And an interesting side note, it also means a pole. So the South Pole is
南极,
and the North Pole.
北极. So when you're at the extreme point of something.
Now we're really going north, we're going to the city of Harbin.
对, 我们听到他说哈尔滨呢. The winters in Harbin are definitely going to be super, super cold. So that's why we hear the phrase 冷得不得了,冷得不得了. So when you hear an adjective plus 得不得了, it means very, very extremely. It's quite a fun way to exaggerate your statement.
So the structure 得不得了 is one of my favorites. Any other typical things you'll hear on the street?
Maybe you want to say, oh God, that guy is gorgeous. He is so handsome. You can say 他帅得不得了,他帅得不得了.
How about for a lady?
她美得不得了,她美得不得了. Just repeat after me. 得不得了,得不得了,得不得了.
Kind of almost a tongue twister.
A
but
little
just
bit.
get used to it.
帅得不得了,冷得不得了,热得不得了,冷得不得了.
It's kind of fun saying it.
Okay, well, let's do a quick recap of all the different degrees of coldness that we've heard today. So we started with, it's not at all cold. It's not a bit cold. 一点也不冷,一点也不冷.
Now if it's quite cold, you can say
挺冷的,挺冷的.
Now this is 2 third tones, but it sounds like a second and a third tone. Now how do you say extremely cold?
冷极了,冷极了.
And how about in Harbin, it's bloody cold, freezing.
冷得不得了,冷得不得了.
Okay, well how about we get some revision and listen to the dialogue 3 more times.
我们再来听听今天的对话。对话第一遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
第二遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
第三遍。
海南的冬天冷吗？
一点也不冷，
杭州的冬天呢？
挺冷的，
北京的呢？
冷极了，
哈尔滨呢？
冷得不得了。
So you want to learn traditional or simplified characters?
Can I just learn to speak Chinese? I really don't want to write or read. It's too much for me.
Are you one of the learners that told us early on that you just want to speak and listen to Chinese and you think Chinese characters are way too complicated? Then I really think you should check out our new introduction into how to read and write Chinese characters. It focuses on simple characters that you encounter in a Chinese language environment every day. In 11 entertaining episodes, we set out to convince you that Chinese characters are actually quite easy, and we hope that you will soon share our excitement. Visit 88 characters on www.chinesepod.com/88 and give it a try. Or search for the first episodes on the Chinese Pod channel on YouTube. It's as simplified as that.
Sophie, you grew up in Scotland for half your life. What were the winters like there?
冷极了，冷极了，冷得不得了。Because I lived in the north of Scotland, 我住在苏格兰的北边。Do you guys remember what 北 is?
North?
Yes. 我住在苏格兰的北边，那边的冬天冷得不得了。
You lived in the north of Scotland, where it was extremely cold.
The interesting thing about today's dialogue, you could reverse the order of the cities, start with Harbin, and then you can ask, 哈尔滨的夏天热吗? So are the summers in Harbin hot? And then you could work your way down and do exactly the same, but opposite with the character 热, hot, and 夏天, which is?
Summer. Okay, guys, get practicing because these structures are going to come up again and again and are super useful for all of your Chinese needs.
好，那我们希望你喜欢我们今天的课程。We hope you like today's lesson. 我们下次见。We'll see you next time. 再见。
再见。
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 3010. So just go to www.chinesepod.com/3010 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/3010.